Banana is one of the greatest success stories in agricultural and trade history. The global banana industry is worth $145 billion. It's the fourth largest food crop of the world, grown in more than 130 countries. In one line, it's the most produced, most traded, and most eaten fruit of the world. But the same banana is facing a threat of extinction today because the global industry depends on one single variety of banana, which is this, the Cavendish banana. The Cavendish banana is facing a threat from a plant disease, tropical race 4, which has already wiped out large fields across the world. And if something is not done sooner, we may not have any bananas in supermarkets, on our kitchen counters, and dining tables. But what if bananas disappear? Is it really that big a deal? For your information, an average individual in Europe and North America eats about 12 kilograms of bananas every year. But the bigger problem is that many in Africa and Asia eat that much in one single month. People in both developed and developing countries, and even in poor countries, depend on this fruit. For some, it's the food security, while for others, it's actually an affordable daily nutrition. So, if bananas disappear, it will not only impact big businesses, but will also kill many economies, cause hunger for millions, and affect daily nutrition for the rest of the population. So, it's not that small a problem. But interestingly, it's not happening for the first time. It happened a century ago, and at that time also, we were aware that we might face this threat once again very soon. Today, virtually all bananas supplied in the US and European markets are the Cavendish bananas. But it wasn't always so. Until the 1950s, the world's most favorite banana was the Gros Michel variety, a variety which was sweeter, richer, and without the bitter aftertaste when green. But in the early 1900s, a soil-borne fungus, tropical race 1, infected this variety and caused a disease which is popularly known as Panama disease. The fungus quickly spread deep in the soil and made all the plants in the field very sick. No amount of chemical spray worked on it, and the farmers literally had to burn their plants and move to a new land. But instead of working on a long-term solution, the banana companies actually opted for a quick fix. When the Panama disease destroyed plantations, they abandoned the infected land and moved to a new land, which was often uncultivated forest land. It's an ugly history which involves US corporations like United Fruit Company that exploited the land and labor in Central America. For decades, they kept on acquiring new land and abandoning the infected land and increasing their exports at massive scale. But the spread of Panama disease did not stop, and by the 1950s, it has devastated Gros Michel variety and wiped it out of production. But soon the world found a new variety, which wasn't as tasty, but it was resistant to tropical race 1. This was Cavendish banana, which has been ruling the banana market since then across the globe. So the problem is solved, right? Well, everyone thought so. But now the Cavendish banana is facing a threat from a new strain of disease, which is called tropical race 4. Tropical race 4 was first detected in Asia in the 1970s. It spread to Africa in 2013, and by 2019, it arrived in Latin America, where 2/3 of global banana trade originates. It is considered as one of the most aggressive and destructive fungi in the history of agriculture. For context, like COVID-19 caused a pandemic for humans, tropical race 4 is prompting fears of banana pandemic. A diseased plant looks very healthy for up to a year, Then it shows the first signs in the form of yellow wilted leaves. But by that time, it's already too late. There is no cure to it and no pesticides work on it. The only solution is to burn the plants and quarantine the infected land completely so that nearby land can be saved at least for some time. If there is any trace of tropical race 4 on your shoes, clothes, or vehicle that you used while moving between countries and plants, it can contaminate the entire banana plantations when you walk through it. That's why banana plantations in Latin America follow strict measures like disinfecting boots, wearing coveralls, and preventing the movement of plants between the fields. In the 1950s, when tropical race 1 had completely destroyed Gros Michel variety, we found a solution in the form of Cavendish banana. But today, there is no similar variety which can actually save Cavendish banana because we do not have any similar variety which is resistant to tropical race 4. But actually, it's not very surprising. It was bound to happen, and the banana companies were always aware about it, and they knew that Cavendish banana was actually not a final solution. Because the problem was never about a particular kind of fungi. The problem actually lies in the way banana is produced. For decades, the industry focused on producing billions of genetically identical bananas as cheaply and efficiently as possible. It ignored one of the nature's most important rule, that diversity is survival. When every plant in a field is genetically different, a disease may kill some of them, but others survive. But when millions of plants are genetically identical in a plant, as they are in banana plantations, a disease that can infect one plant can infect all of them at once. That's exactly what happened with Gros Michel in the 1900s and is now happening with the Cavendish banana. You may be shocked to hear this, but every banana which is grown commercially for export is essentially a clone. Thousands of years ago, the banana that existed in the forest of Southeast Asia had big seeds. It wasn't an edible, fleshy banana we grew up eating. But with time, the fruit mutated and became seedless. Our ancestors actually cut their stems and replanted them, which gave rise to a whole new banana plant. Technically, all bananas grow from the same individual, so they all have same genes as their parent plant. They are all clones without any genetic variations. That is why they can't evolve to resist a disease. So the farmers use pesticides to control diseases. But fungi is becoming more resistant because they have a very high level of genetic variations and can evolve rapidly. Also, bananas are grown in a monoculture system because that helps increase the yield. In this kind of farming system, one single type of crop is grown in a field at a particular time. It's a profitable method of farming, but when a pathogen infects one plant, it quickly spreads to all. Generally, farmers use pesticides and chemical sprays to keep the disease at bay. But with TR4, no chemical sprays are working. And now all eyes are on science to find a solution to the existing banana crisis. So the question we have is that has science found any solution yet? Scientists, researchers, farmers, governments, and corporates all are trying to find a solution by creating a TR4 resistant banana variety. We don't have a perfect solution yet, but they are rays of hope. In Australia, Professor James Dale and his team has been working on growing and developing a genetically modified Cavendish banana for more than 20 years now. In a wild banana which is found in Southeast Asia, they discovered a gene which is immune to TR4. They extracted this gene from this variety and inserted it into a Cavendish banana, which gave rise to a new variety. It smells, tastes, and looks identical to the regular banana. And most importantly, it is TR4 resistant. The Australian government has already given approval to grow it commercially. But there is a big problem because most European countries do not allow genetically modified crops. And even consumers are mostly skeptical about genetically modified foods. So, this variety actually may not make it to many markets which 100% rely on the Cavendish banana today. To solve this problem, Professor Dale is actually working on gene editing, which is not considered as genetic modification in many countries. So, if this experiment becomes successful, we may have a solution for this problem and it might solve the problem for the major part of the world. But again, this is a short term solution and we are still not addressing the root cause of the problem. So, is there actually a really long term solution or an ultimate solution to this problem? There are more than 1,000 varieties of bananas which are grown across the world today. But 99% of the bananas which are shipped and sold in the international markets are Cavendish bananas. A similar situation is there for apples, tomatoes, grapes, pomegranates, and many other fruits and crops. The answer to preserve them lies in a diverse ecosystem. But to achieve that, we need to move away from the monoculture farming system. Commercial fruit growers always concentrate on a handful of fruit varieties because that helps them maximize the yield. But in the process, the plant's natural ability to fight against the disease and pest gets lost. The short-term solution is always to use chemical sprays. That is why banana is the most heavily sprayed food crop today. But the nature has its own way of teaching, and that is why today no pesticides are working on TR4, and the most plausible solution to save banana is to go back to a diverse ecosystem and let the crops grow as they should. If that happens, we may not see racks full of identical looking Cavendish bananas in our supermarkets. Imagine walking in a supermarket in the future and see racks full of varieties of bananas, like the 4-inch long ladyfinger with sweet, rich, creamy flesh, the blue Java banana which tastes like vanilla ice cream, the exotic red banana, the Honduras Goldfinger banana, the India's Mysore banana, and maybe also my favorite Champa banana from Kolkata. Back home in India, I never used to eat Cavendish banana, but in Denmark, I eat only this because there is no other option. Cavendish banana looks beautiful, but honestly, it is one of the most tasteless banana. You will understand this only if you have eaten different varieties of bananas. Luckily, I have eaten many different varieties of bananas because my home country, India, is the world's biggest producer of bananas and grows more than 300 different types of bananas. It is said that when Alexander the Great came to India in 327 BC, he ate a banana and loved it. He took it with him and introduced it to the rest of the world. From India, it traveled to the Middle East. This banana was of the size of an adult finger. Historians believe that the banana has got its name from an Arabic word, banan, which means finger. Arab traders took it to Africa, and from Africa it moved to Europe and the Americas. The global journey of banana have made this amazing fruit available for the whole world. But over commercialization and practices against nature have again and again posed a threat to its existence. But we still have things in our hands because we still have diversity in this fruit. In different parts of the world, more than 1,000 varieties of bananas are grown and available today. I hope the industry embraces the nature this time rather than investing once again in a quick fix, which may fix the problem for now, but will always keep this fruit vulnerable to a disease, a fungus, or a pest. Going with the nature is the only long-term and ultimate solution to save the world's oldest fruit, our favorite banana.